That's just what they want to see. They tune in. Not good. Oh. It's just what's wrong with you? So that's a myriad of things.
So many things.
So many things.
Hi.
What's happening, everybody? Happy St. Patty's Day. Happy,
What is it, St. Patty's Day?
yeah, today's St. Patty's Day.
Shit.
None of us are wearing green. No pinches. No pinches.
How do you know I'm not wearing green? It just might not be visible.
You know what?
It's
Fine.
a thong.
So, welcome to
nothing on me.
Lockdown 2020. We here at Certifiable are doing okay. Nobody here has shown any signs. Knew that was coming. So, yeah, we thought we'd actually include you guys in on this game. Rather than watching, we want you to respond as well. We're playing Morbid Curiosity.
Which now we realize is an extremely morbid game to be playing.
Well, that's why I chose it yesterday.
I
That's
didn't
exactly
realize
why I
that's
chose it.
We should have played Pandemic.
Right. Maybe we'll do that next week, depending on how this plans out.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've got two decks of cards in front of us. We've got a black deck and a white deck. The white deck is discussion questions between us. Black deck is actually trivia. So the way it works is kind of like Cards Against Humanity, where the first to 10 wins the whole thing. And the way you win is by answering correctly for the multiple choice or by the judge, the person who draws the card, your response to their question. So I thought it might be kind of fun to do. We've got a few of you in here, and hopefully we'll get some more as we go. Hearn might be joining us. You never know who's going to come through. So, yeah, Nate, since you are closest to the deck with Hunter, why don't you choose between white or black? White is general discussion. Black is multiple choice.
Got my green.
You stole it. Nice. All right, what do you got?
No pinches. Truce off.
Oh.
I'm eating a mint, so
You gonna take a second? All right.
For the nutrients.
We love soft mints around
Oh my
here.
God.
We've gone through.
Don't tell them
a
that.
whole
They're just
box.
gonna send more.
No, please.
No, please, yeah.
Send
No.
all the soft mints.
We've
5,000
eaten
pounds.
so many of them. Oh God.
It's good for you.
It's
is.
not. Just sugar.
Yeah, it's good for
but
you.
it's delicious sugar. It's minty sugar.
All right, what you got?
A casket,
Mm-hmm.
originally referred to ellipses.
God.
A close print. Okay, I'm gonna start there.
Yeah.
It's a weird interpretive dance thing. Hey, casket.
A casket, originally referred to A. The rock placed upon a grave to protect against scavengers. B. A bread box. C. A box of jewels. Or D. It has always been a receptacle for a body.
I didn't catch the whole question now.
Okay.
Yeah, read it normally.
A casket originally referred to A. The rock placed upon a grave to protect against scavengers. B. A bread box. C. A box of jewels. Or D. It has always been a receptacle for a body.
I say A.
I'm gonna say the jewels one.
Okay.
Really? So we've got a rock placed upon a grave
Yep.
and a box of jewels.
And a box of jewels. Yep.
And
Obviously wrong, but why not?
the answer is C. Undertakers introduced it as a euphemism for the container of a dead body.
Oh.
A casket was originally a box of jewels.
Woo!
All right, so you get the card.
Nailed it.
First to 10 wins. All right, so Hunter, you're up next. We're going to do multiple choice. We're going to do free form.
Oh, snap.
All right.
This isn't coronavirus. We're just clearing our throats.
It's a lot of sugar in all of our mouths, I think. There's phlegm built up. Hey! Good, Brent's here. Now I can ask this question.
You just said on my mint wrappers.
Did I?
Yes, you did. You crinkled when you said that.
I didn't even hear it. I'm so used to crinkling when I...
You're just so used to crinkling. What's wrong with your ass, Brent?
It's his knees.
My,
It's
my
all of his
testicles are very
joints.
papery.
You need to lotion
It's
those.
a condition.
Balls. You need to lotion them.
See, just when you think he's the normal one on the group, he pulls something out like that. All right, what do you got, Hunter?
All right. Which social media accounts do you want left up after you die? How does one get this card? Do I
So
vote?
whatever you think is the best
Oh, okay.
answer.
So which social media accounts do you want left up after you die?
I don't want the ones I have now.
Only
Like
Grindr.
left up.
And whatever comes after Grinder.
Yeah. I would say it feels like a dating app would be the most like left up. Like
Well,
you
no.
died with it left up on the screen. You want your best stuff.
That's the thing. Is like left up can be a bunch of different things. If it's left up, like is there a way I can auto-populate it? So like
that'd
be fun.
using
Oh,
like
you could.
Hootsuite-
You could easily
Hootsuite
do that.
things.
Well, even
I can-
Facebook, you can plan posts
Yeah.
ahead.
So so this is like your suicide is about to like you're just like
But
instead of leaving a letter, let me
Right.
just go ahead and auto populate my my
Man.
social media.
but this is also like Black Mirror. That one episode of Black Mirror. Have you not?
Seen that
Okay,
one.
so there's an episode where in the future they can take your loved ones' emails, voicemails, social media, and they combine it all together to create a virtual version of you that you can either exist on the internet where people can interact with you, or for extra money you can be put into a shell, an android, and
Ghost. In the
kind of and live that way. That was the Black Mirror one. It was really good, really kind of cool.
yeah, I've heard about that one.
Now I read an article in Wired a while back. It's been last couple of years, I guess. A guy who would, chatbots are getting more and more.
Yes.
Not to, they're trying to get obviously where they can pass the Turing test, but this guy was doing that with people's relatives.
Yeah.
He was getting it to the point. Like the ideal was, I think it started. His dad, I'm trying to remember if his dad was about. It's been a while since I read it. Was very sick, but just took as much as he could from his life and created a chatbot based around his dad. It was like it was really strange, but also a little. It was really sweet too.
And you hear about people like ordering flowers for their significant other to be delivered every year on the anniversary for like the next 30
Yeah.
years. So you hear a lot about stuff like that.
Yes, I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I constantly see, when my friends who have passed, their birthday pops up on Facebook. Facebook has such a thing where you can't really delete the account unless you have, I think you got to send in the death certificate and a few other things. So the account is just left up. And so it's kind of weird. I'd say, for me, I'd want to leave up my Twitter, and I'd want to just have it populated with just random things for like the next couple of years, just for fun. I don't think Facebook is a bit too kind of convoluted. I think there's a lot of things with that. There's things already auto-populating, like, hey, remember when you said this 5 years ago, and things like that. So I'd say for me, Twitter.
Now, I did find out a good friend of mine. It was somebody I haven't seen in years. Found out that she had died via Facebook. Like I was like, I haven't heard from this person in a while, and went to their page, and you can designate somebody to be in charge of the Facebook page. After if something happens to you, it had been turned into a memoriam page, and it was just like they go. We're like, but people were, sharing various memories, and it was just very jarring because I had no idea this person had passed.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I can see the argument for leaving something like that up. I mean,
I'm gonna give it to you for Grinder.
Postal Member says, this reminds me of the movie The Congress. Robin Wright played a fictional version of herself who sells her identity and digital to save her child. It is an interesting blend of live action and animation. I may have to check that one out. I like Robin Wright.
I like these cards. These are very
It's kind of fun. All right.
So these are multiple choice.
Yep.
And these are the discussion.
Free
So you just pick which one you want to.
I'll go multiple choice.
Oh, we're going in turn order. It's not whoever.
Oh yeah, we can do that too.
I don't. It doesn't matter.
It's too
Whatever I
late.
want to do.
Yeah, let's
You-
just,
no.
we'll,
Turn
we'll
order's
round
fine.
robin.
Yeah.
How many cards did y'all
never
do before I got here?
One.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. To catch you up, a casket was originally a jewel box.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting, right? Yeah. It's not.
So, what year did the title The Grim Reaper first appear? A. 1218. B. 1620. C. 1847. D. 1926.
I'm gonna go with the 16 one.
The Grim
B.
Reaper.
Okay.
Well,
Do we all have to choose different things? Or
no,
No.
no, I don't know. How does that work if we?
if two people are right.
Leave Rochambeau for it.
Okay, I like that.
Dog mud.
I like A.
Or
Okay.
Brute Canal.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Oh
Yeah.
shoot, I can't do that. Need water.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 1200 one, just for kicks.
Okay.
Same.
Okay. The answer is C. 1847.
Interesting. Nobody got it.
Nobody got it. All right.
We
Hearn.
do Prices Rights.
I wish you would give a little. I wish you would give a
closest.
little background.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right.
I think I've pitched this before, but I'm gonna say it again. We should play Balderdash.
Oh, wow.
Love Balderdash.
How has death changed the way you live your life? Also, in loving memory of Chuck Jackson, you inspired us to live deeply and to face death with wonder. We miss you. Wow, a call out and a death game. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe that's maybe when they kickstarted
Yeah.
it, you can put a little something.
Maybe so. How has death changed the way you live your life?
Everybody got it wrong in the chat too.
Oh,
In the last one.
I don't know that I've ever been afraid of death. I think the thing that I fear most is that whole FOMO thing, fear of missing out. It makes me sad that I might be missing out on, grandkids and other things like that come after me, that I don't get a chance to enjoy those. But I also have a real different way of thinking of all of us, where I believe in reincarnation and the energy going out into the universe and being used for the generations to come, where we're all kind of a part of each other. So I don't think there's ever been a fear of me. It's just I'm sad that I have to miss out on some really cool things in the future.
like what the next Fast and Furious movie is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
if we die
it's
now, I
been
don't know how
delayed.
that's going to end with John Cena. I mean, John Cena is Vin Diesel's brother, and if I can't watch that, the scene of the trailer, it's okay.
I mean, they do look exactly alike.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Death doesn't really play into my usual day-to-day.
Y'all need some new questions. This shit is getting dark.
Right?
I know.
Supposed
It's
to,
the name of the
Anthony.
game. Morbid
Morbid
curiosity.
curiosity.
So, Hunter, you don't really think about it that much because you're so young still. You're still in your mid-20s.
Right.
I have had several moments where I've thought there are a lot of people who died at my age. I'm about to hit
if-
27.
I was going to say 27. You need to think about
yeah,
that.
exactly.
Maybe
That's
not
the
do
time.
drugs and don't put any guns in your mouth.
Don't be creative at all. It should be. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
so
just
keep
don't
going
worry.
your normal
So
route.
far, so good, right?
Yes.
Ouch. Now he's never going to give me more stickers.
What's your name?
That could be what kills me.
So, I hit 40 this past year.
Yep.
Punched it right in the face. You hit it.
No, it hit me
Oh.
right in the face.
Trying to be.
I have not been enjoying 40
Collided
so
with
far.
40. It should be.
Last year was a shit year for me, personally, in my personal life and all that. My dad died beginning of last year. Jamie with her health issues, all this other kind of stuff, and then I turned 40, and it just all kind of happened all at once. And I don't want to say I'm having a midlife crisis, but because I can't afford a sports car or anything. I don't
I
More
mean,
of a late life crisis.
No,
Does that help?
no. I would say your sports car has been like camera equipment.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You've been riding that. I don't know what to call that fucking thing.
The gimbal?
Yeah,
Yeah, I got
that's your sports car.
I got camera gear. So
That's good. That's what I'm going to work into my. I was trying
Yeah,
to. Okay.
no. Please.
I was just gonna say that's what I'm gonna work into my idea. I was telling Anthony about that and I'm sure other people have done. There's no way I was the first person to think of this. Misfortune cookies is just horribly morbid fortune. It's like, don't think of a midlife crisis. You don't know when you'll die. Maybe it's a late life crisis.
Right.
Don't worry, you had your midlife crisis at 20. How old are
That's
you?
right. Yikes.
So I guess it's kind of shifted my perspective on where I want my life to be
Good.
at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that's a good. Those reminders that you just don't know. Like, don't waste time on stupid stuff. You know, not to say don't enjoy yourself.
Well, see y'all later.
Not to say don't enjoy yourself. That's not stupid. That's like, that's part of life. But don't, make the main. What's the thing? The main thing is to make the main thing the main thing. If you get too caught up in the other just crap that literally doesn't matter, then
Right.
that's valuable time you never get back.
Figure out what works for you. Go with that. If you're happy, good on you. Or if you're content. I don't actually like the word happy because happy can be fleeting. Happy is not a good goal.
Well, sure.
Contentment,
Absolutely.
I think
And
is a worthier goal.
And I
Satisfaction.
think as a society, our happiness way too often is dictated by others' interaction with us and by outside forces rather than what we are putting out there to make ourselves happy. We rely too much on approval and status quos to dictate our happiness, I
We
think.
got 4 cards into this, and now we're the View.
But I think this gives the people watching a much better idea of who we are and we can see about them. Like Postal Pupper says, I don't fear death per se. It is more about the permanent goodbye. I make it through the funeral fine, but break down as the casket is being lowered.
That sounds like a good indie band. Permanent goodbye.
And that's like, how many of us have lost? How many people have you lost in your life that were close to
It depends
you?
on if you count like the 3 worst days of my life are people who were close to me that died. So I would say 3. I've lost more people that I know
Sure.
and love, and so maybe 4. But the one was expected. I don't know. I'm not going to get into all that.
Yeah.
3 to 4, depending on how you define that. So yeah.
How about you, Nate?
Oddly, because we don't have a large extended family. Like the first person I remember losing is my dad's grandmother, the one who raised him. I was real tiny, so that didn't really affect me. And then
Yeah.
the next close death was my grandpa and grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
and then my dad. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
I got you.
maybe
What you
3 or
Hunter?
4.
I feel like I should have mentioned this before. I'm actually going to a funeral tomorrow because my grandmother passed away over the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like when you mentioned morbid curiosity yesterday. It didn't even like dawn on me. I was thinking about other things, and now
Yeah.
we're playing this game, and I'm like, oh shit, maybe I should mention this. Like,
I think I've lost probably about 8 people that are really close to me. So I mean, we're all most of us are still young in our time where a lot of people are still around us. But I think the older you get, of course, the more people you start
Yeah.
losing, and it's
My parents and my mother and my in-laws, seems like almost every week or every couple of weeks it's a cousin or a friend or
Yeah.
a coworker.
Yeah, and it changes too as you like. I say 3 or 4. Those are like life-changing moments.
yes,
for me.
exactly.
Now, if you count like people who I was close to and it made a difference in my life in some way, it gets closer to probably a dozen or more.
Sure.
But then, it's how do you don't want to. It gets kind of gross when you start. Well, this person, I'm going to give them this much weight.
Right.
It's my-
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
you know what I
absolutely.
mean? You have those.
On
those
a
people
scale
who are
of
like
1
that.
to 10.
Right.
Well, all right. Who do you give the card to?
So what was the question again?
How does death change the way you live your
where are the
life?
tissues?
I'm gonna give this one to Hunter just because. Dang, I'm sorry.
Sorry, no,
And even Bumper says her condolences.
It wasn't that I forgot. It was like on my mind, but
No,
it was about something else.
No worries. All right, Nate. What do you got?
These discussions are getting kind of heavy, so let's I think we need to break them up. with
Yeah, every
multiple
3 or
choice.
4 maybe.
Yeah. Huh. In medieval Europe, why might someone be buried at a crossroads? They were believed to be a vampire. To confuse the dead were they to rise from their grave.
Ooh.
That's genius.
They committed suicide. They were executed criminals. Or all of the above.
Damn.
I think it was
I want to go with confuse the dead
I'm
because
going with that one too.
that tickles my funny bone a little bit. Just the
I
idea of
think
them.
suicide.
A bunch of dumb ghosts.
I don't know which way to go. I can't read now.
The deceased version of Google Maps.
Yeah, I'll go suicide.
Suicide. We got two confuse the dead. Wrong.
What is it?
All of them.
Dang it, that was my second choice.
Well, it's still. I'm happy to hear that one of them was confusing the dead.
Does all of the above mean it could have been one of these things? And this is only true specifically for people who satisfy all of these requirements.
They were a criminal. They committed suicide. They were believed to be a vampire, and to confuse them when they rise from the grave.
That's the I'm right.
There's like one guy in all of history.
Right.
It just is the only vampire that they ever passed. It's Dracula.
What was it? All right, Hunter, what do you got?
Wasn't this a black one? Yeah.
Oh, that was a black one. I'm sorry.
Should I go?
You can do what you want to do.
You can do what you want to, man.
Not all of them are. Not all of them
I mean,
are. Like,
I felt like the one I had was
ones.
pretty like surface level.
But then we took
This feels like a gamble. This deck.
Go for it. There we go.
If I like it, I'll keep it. If I don't like it, I'm gonna go with black.
Okay.
What diseases do you currently have?
Oh well, that's easy.
Oh, this is fine.
Yeah.
What disease?
How did you know?
Did y'all say something? Is there a famous person's final resting place you'd like to visit? Nope.
That was an easy one for me, and it's really sad because I lived there for a year and a half and never made it out there.
Faulkner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Faulkner, like I know where it was just one of those things I didn't manage to. I just didn't make it out there. And Hamilton. Now that I love Hamilton. So.
I went to Faulkner's
Really?
grave
Okay.
before, so I've done that.
Did you pour out some Four Roses? I think that's the thing to do.
Yeah. I'd say for me, I've been to Shakespeare's. I've been to Faulkner's.
See, I would like to do Shakespeare.
I'd like
I
to
would be
do
interested in
Poe's.
Shakespeare's.
I think I'd like to go to Poe's resting site.
I don't know. There aren't many resting places. Like I always hear the stories about, they've got these great quotes or, oh, there's something like that. That's all cool. I don't think if I'm like in England, one of my stops is going to be going to see. I mean, it might be.
Yeah.
If it's just something somebody else wants to do, but it's just something I'm not really interested in going to see. I want to go see, I'll go see Stratford upon Avon,
Sure,
and I'll go
yeah.
see the theater, and I'll go see one of his plays, but
Yeah.
I don't really care about going to see his grave.
Elliptic Dart says Einstein.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
It would be a lot more interesting if it were their literal final resting place. Like this was the
Like,
recliner.
this was the-
they
yeah.
chilled in right before they had to
That
go
would
to the
be cool.
hospital.
This is the sandwich that Mama Cass choked on.
Oh God!
So they've opened up a memorial.
This is the toilet that Elvis Presley.
I can't remember exactly where it's at, but it's somewhere in southern Mississippi where Leonard Skinner crashed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've
That's
opened up a memorial.
interesting. Okay.
And my father-in-law, being a giant redneck, really wants to go to it.
He does.
Yeah.
Do some Freebird, man.
Yeah. So that's interesting. But personally, I'm like Hunter. I can't really.
Right on.
I don't feel that deep connection that urges me to see anything like that.
Yeah, it's like yeah, I don't have any like. I completely get how other people would. Ugh. Fucking peppermints. I totally get how other people would. I never got that like intimate connection with like a writer who wrote something so nice that I just had to, I felt like I knew them or something.
Right.
I don't feel like I know these famous people the way that others might. I didn't delve that deep into them or anything like that.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever like geeked out around a celebrity or anything like
Yes. Yeah.
that? Okay.
Yeah. Why?
I was just curious because I don't do that.
Oh yeah. I geek out around a living celebrity.
No, but one of my things is I'm a videographer for some of the local cons, and I get to interact with a lot of people just in passing, and never have I. The only experience I've had was Virginia Hay, who was in Road Warrior
Yeah.
and Farscape. Put her arm around me and my friend. She was like, "What can I do for y'all?" And I was like, "Yeah, that was cool."
Yeah.
You
But
just did.
That's pretty much it.
Done.
But I mean, even then, it was just having a normal conversation with just another person. I see
Sure,
people
I can
at these
see that.
cons just, fading and losing their train of thought.
Oh
and
yeah.
all
No,
that.
I would
just-
never do
just-
that. I think
It's not something I've ever.
I
or can
think
imagine.
my geeking out over them usually happens at a distance. First of all, I don't really get to interact with a lot of them in that kind of way. I mean, you're tied into it a little bit better. But I got to see and meet Ron Glass before he passed away at Dragon Con, the one and only time I went, and I geeked out. Like, it was insane. I was so excited to meet him and see him, and he was talking about the comic book series the graphic novel series that came after, and I was so excited. But that's I didn't do that with a ton, but I geeked out in a different way. I would be talking to my brother, and someone would pass him. Oh my God, did you see them? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
I never fainted or ran up to them or anything like that.
Can you sign my chest?
My most just random. It wasn't a geek out thing. It was more of a surreal experience. Was I spent right around 20 years ago. I was an extra in the Ponderheart, which is a Burwell movie that they shot in Mississippi, and I was in a scene, and it was at Whitfield. It was on the grounds of Whitfield, but they just built a fake. I don't know why they didn't use a real cemetery, but maybe they were shooting something else on the grounds, but they built a fake cemetery there. And anyway, I was a pallbearer, and I didn't know. I just hadn't done very much research on who was in the cast. I didn't know anything about it. I'm going to show up and be an extra, and I showed up, and they're like, "You're supposed to board this bus here, and they'll take you over to the set." And I just wasn't paying attention, and several of us stood there, sat on. I think I was just kind of in my own world, just whatever. And I noticed one or two people kind of looking at me strangely, and I was just like, what was that look for?
Did I fart again?
And it was just like a little, like a van that shuttled us in here. And I got up, I sat down, and I looked up, I was like, holy crap, it's Data. Brent Spiner was just sitting we're in a van. He's just right here. And I was like, because I've never been that guy either. Where it was just so I didn't know he was in this. I didn't expect to look up and see him right here.
Right.
It was him and Jo Beth Williams and Peter McNichol were all in this scene, and it was just I should have maybe looked to see who was in this film.
And this van, I probably shouldn't be here.
That is the thing. It was this was probably there was probably another shuttle for extras. I probably just got on with principals and crew. It was just so weird. Luckily, I didn't say it out loud. Holy crap, it's Data.
All right.
So,
Wait, what was
You gave it to me.
I gave it to you.
oh, okay.
A long time ago.
I don't even remember what that question was.
Any grave site.
Famous person's
Oh, that's right.
final resting place. Yeah. All right. Which city can make this claim? Home of the drive-through funeral parlor since 1968.
That sounds familiar.
Atlanta, Los Angeles, Dallas, or Detroit?
What were the options
It
again?
sounds like an
Atlanta, Los Angeles, Dallas, or Detroit? Which city can make this
I've
claim?
heard this
Home of the
before.
drive-through funeral parlor since 1968.
I've heard this.
I know there's been something like this in Mississippi. I think.
Detroit is the car town, so
It is.
kind of makes sense.
Dallas
But it
is the
sounds
home
like-
of JFK's
But
assassination.
my God, is that not something you would if you heard about that first, you'd be like, that exists, and then someone said that's in Atlanta, you'd be like, oh yeah, no, that doesn't exist.
Pepper says L.A.
I'm gonna go with Atlanta.
Atlanta.
I
Okay.
feel like it.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a bit cliche.
I'm gonna hate
probably.
myself. I'm gonna say Detroit because I
Detroit.
really kind of am thinking Atlanta, but I want to. call
You know
it.
what? I'll go Dallas. What the hell?
Okay. Survey says Atlanta, Georgia.
Boom!
Listen to my gut.
Yeah. And I've heard that before. I've heard
Yeah,
of those
that's
before.
kinda crazy.
It's just-
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, really, really weird.
Yeah.
It's like
Now-
they just
Yeah,
like
what
have
is
the
it?
glass with the overhang,
Yeah,
and the casket is just
and you can just drive through and look at the person and
Yeah.
get going.
yeah.
You know, not to get
That's
real
interesting.
morbid, but we may be about to start seeing more of that.
It's possible.
Honestly,
Yeah, it's very
it's
possible.
a large gathering. I just thought about that last night. I said, crap, people are still going to be dying. And
I think we'll see more web services.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's become a huge thing.
I will say I'm nervous going to this funeral
Ma- ma-
tomorrow.
Why is it?
Because there's going to be a
Large
lot of people.
gathering.
A large
Oh,
gathering
right,
of
right,
people
right, right,
who
yeah.
are all, I mean, she was an
Elderly.
old woman, and elderly people are going to be there, and they are the ones that are at high risk, and I technically am also at high risk with asthma, so it's a
Yeah,
fun time. You
fun
know?
times. Good times.
Yeah.
Why would we choose this game again?
I thought we could incorporate the audience with it. Your turn, Harn.
Yeah, okay.
No, it also gives them a chance to find out more about us.
God, why would
And
you
our
want
theories
to?
on death, apparently.
Ooh. Which U.S. state cremates more people than any other?
Let's find a little bit
Texas.
out about
A, Florida.
Go big or go.
What'd you say?
No, he said Texas. Florida. That's right off the bat. That
Yeah.
sounds very believable.
A, Florida. B, California. C, Nevada. D, North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina. That's like that's the
good.
underdog there. That's the one you
That's-
don't
that's
expect.
kinda
That
out
kinda,
there.
that kind of
Sweet
sneaks up
underdog.
on you, and you're just like, wait.
Why
The
is-
other ones, yeah. but
I'd say
that one-
Nevada.
I'm leaning towards Nevada
That
myself.
was the one I was gonna go with, but then you said, yeah.
Final answer?
I'm gonna go with California. Isn't that one you said?
Yes.
Just making sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Nevada.
Corey?
Postal Pupper says Florida.
I say Nevada as well.
Nevada it is.
Yeah, I was gonna go with that one.
All right, so
Everyone
just
was
rip the
Who
card
said
in
it
half,
first?
and I think you said it first.
We can Rochambeau.
Go for, yeah,
On 3?
On 3 or after 3? So
After
like 1,
3.
2, 3.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, shoot.
Okay.
Ah! All right. Name?
Oh yeah.
Postal Pupper, I totally understand your logic. It makes a lot of sense.
Florida makes perfect sense
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
That's what it was. That's what the Postal Pupper said.
Figure they just throw them in the swamp down there.
All right, let the Gators have some.
Yeah.
Mm.
Gators
Florida
some
man
good
eats
eating.
them.
Florida. That was God. Atlanta was such a good series.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was.
still
there's
I haven't
there's
finished
still
it.
another season.
Is
They
it?
just they don't know when they're going to release it yet.
I haven't
So,
finished
yeah,
it.
they've supposedly shot half of it.
Yeah, the first 2 are so good.
I haven't seen any of those.
Got to
Oh,
go watch it.
man.
I watched some of the first season. I was hooked, but it just
Second
Gotta
season
make
had
it-
some
It
really
gets-
good standouts.
It gets real surreal later in the
gotta
first
go back
season.
and watch
It's,
it.
man, it's
yeah.
I saw him just dropped an album. Like it was yesterday.
But it got
Yeah,
pulled.
just surprised.
It was only on the website for like I think they said 24 hours, and now it's not there
Oh.
anymore.
interesting.
So he may do a
I
full
hope
release
so,
of it.
'cause I didn't get
It
to
was
listen
really
to
good.
it.
Yeah, it sounded really good.
Didn't get to listen to it.
I'm sure you can acquire it.
Was it
I'm
free?
sure.
Yeah, it was just streaming on a loop on his
Oh.
website.
I guarantee somebody. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
has
somebody
it
somebody
somewhere.
grabbed it. All right, Nate.
Ooh. This is an interesting one. I'm curious to.
Yeah, see.
Are you morbidly curious?
I am morbidly curious. Which famous person would you cast as the voice of death?
Okay.
Voice of death.
Everybody says, who would you choose to narrate your life, or who's the voice of God? You know, it's always Morgan Freeman or Sam Jackson or whatever.
I'm going to tell you the very first person who popped in my mind.
Okay.
Gilbert Godfrey.
Can you do an impersonation?
It's your time!
Jesus Christ.
We just heard it from Jesse's room.
Hey, what are you doing?
There was a series of
Postal
Audiobooks
Pupper says
of the
James
Bible.
Earl Jones.
that were all black actors doing it. They did Old Testament, New Testament, completely black cast. and they had Sam Jackson as the voice of God in the Old Testament. And it was really kind of fun. I would say for me, Anthony Hopkins.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, going for a little creepy edge there.
Well, I mean, we've been watching. That totally checks out because we've been watching Westworld now,
Yep.
and he
Postal Puppers
is
is James
God.
Earl Jones.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's tough.
Just do it all Tarantino. Put Uma Thurman in.
yeah,
Alanis Morissette was God. So.
yeah.
That's shit. Man, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could go with any of those. Those sound really good. I
Now,
don't have as-
now think about it this way: when you die, what's a voice you would like to hear?
yeah,
What's the first voice?
not Anthony Hopkins.
Not Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
Something
What about you,
really
Nate?
soothing.
That's what I'm trying to think of. Who would?
There's not if
Steve
you watching.
Carell.
Start chiming in, folks.
I mean, it'd be a loved one. I mean, I'd prefer.
Well, yeah, if you want to go that way, yeah.
if you want
But,
to.
yeah, as the voice of God.
Again.
So we switched from the what was the actually the original question?
Voice of Death.
Voice of
Voice
Death.
of Death,
Voice of
yeah.
God. So,
But yeah, death, I say Anthony Hopkins. I think that'd just be really cool.
What does Death say?
oh, it just occurred to me he was also in Meet
Joe Black.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I didn't even think
But
about
that was Brad Pitt.
Yeah, he was the one who was supposed to get reaped, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with the man that's already played him, William Sadler.
Okay, you damn right. They Melvined me.
And he is reprising his role. for
Yep.
the third
Oh,
movie,
Oh
which I
damn, that would be
absolutely love.
good. Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers is the
Oh,
voice of death.
shit, that'd be
That-
so good.
That'd be really fun.
Oh man, can you
That's
imagine
good.
just like coming
Can
out?
I give it to the? Can I give it to the Cove?
Yeah, they
Love to Dart says Ryan Reynolds. Postal Pepper says James Earl Jones. Patrick says Kate Blanchett.
Postal Pepper says Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks as well. Yeah. I think we give it to the Cove on that. We give it to CD Marie because she's the one that said Mr. Rogers.
Yes, you need a good answer.
All right, put it up
Good
front
answer.
there. Cove wins that one.
Specifically, CD.
How
Good
amazing
choice.
would it be if you died and like you
It's-
discover you're being led and it's like, hi neighbor.
Have any of you seen the movie with Tom Hanks?
No, not yet. Shut up.
It's really good.
I really want to
Yeah,
see it.
I really enjoyed it. All right, your turn, Hunter.
Is it? Okay.
It was almost Gilbert Godfrey, though.
It was almost.
Man.
That was a good answer.
Wake up! Wake up! You were hit by a car!
Why'd you choose to go out that way?
You really wasted your life. You're going to hell.
Gilbert Godfrey really cuts through the building, doesn't he?
Yeah, Patrick, I thought it was a good movie as well.
What?
The Mr. Rogers,
Oh,
Won't
God.
You Be My
I
Neighbor,
really
or
want
whatever
to
it's
see
called.
it.
Yeah.
I do too. Just have it.
All right, what do you got?
In the Spanish Pyrenees, what happens to a beekeeper's bees after he dies? A. The hive is placed in the hollow of a tree. B. A drop of black ink is splashed on each bee. C. The queen is killed. D. His daughter inherits them.
Wait, where is this again? Spanish?
Spanish Pyrenees.
I'm going to go for the last one.
I'm going for the tree.
I'm going for the tree, too. That's the first thing that popped in my
Yeah.
head.
It's B. A drop of black ink is splashed on
How,
each bee.
how intense
How
is that
awesome
process?
is that?
Yeah, that's awesome and intense and
Yeah.
time-consuming.
Man,
tedious.
no.
It's just kind of a
and-
continuous thing because that person dies. And that,
Everybody.
because they have,
Could you stop? Stop.
Why am I a beekeeper and allergic to bee stings? This is not right.
No, do they line up nicely, or are you just like,
Yeah.
See, nobody in the cove even guessed that. It does seem very far fetched. I did not believe. I didn't think of that one.
maybe beekeepers in the Spanish Pyrenees only keep like 10 bees at a time.
Could be.
Everyone has a pet
Could
bee.
be.
Literally everybody.
A tiny leash. It's just attached to a button.
Who was that? What was it? Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, where the guy had flies on fishing wire attached to his
Ooh,
his
I never
coat.
saw that.
I think it was that movie, but yeah, it was this creepy guy, and he had flies attached to fishing line, and there's like 5 little flies that would, I think there were flies that would kind of fly around him as he was walking. It was just a really odd visual. Anyway, what is one thing you want people to do, or one thing you desperately do not want people to do at your memorial/funeral?
I really hope nobody shows up naked.
Okay, good answer.
I think I'm
I
just
don't
answering for
want to restrict
everybody.
people, though.
You're right. You're right. You're right. I don't know where my life's gonna be at the time when I
I
die.
don't-
I
I
could
don't
turn
wanna
nudist. It doesn't. I can't say now.
Yeah, I don't want to restrict other people's grieving practices.
You're right. You're right. Bring your beat.
I don't
man.
know.
I don't care.
There could be somebody like that's get really sad. They just strip down.
If you need to
You know?
teabag me to feel closure while I'm in my casket, go for it.
That's
Yeah,
what
I'm gonna
we
be dead. I don't
debated
care.
right there. That's,
I miss you so much.
I want somebody's quads to get ripped.
from the grief that overtakes.
That is-
I want ink. I want ink dipped on each one of their balls, and then they
Yikes.
dip it on my eyes.
Oh god.
I really do like the whole have a party for me. So I would love to have a dance off at my funeral. So if something happens to me,
That'd be
Yeah.
nice.
Dance
attendees,
off.
I don't know what the prize is. Maybe I need to find something of value to me that the winner of the dance off at my funeral gets the
Yeah.
receives
Get your
this.
brownie batter stuff, your cookie dough dip.
They get to teabag you.
Man, there would be people who have never in their life thought about dancing. Would be like, wait, I get to do what now?
Turn your head into a disco ball. Make sure they put little mirrors on your head and shine a light on it.
Just hang you from the ceiling and spin you.
Pinata. It'd be a
Oh
dance.
God.
Stuff my inside with sweets.
Pupper says, I tell people that I want people to celebrate my life. At the visitation, I want multiple bottles of whiskey and shot glasses made available so people can honor me with one last shot.
Yeah.
All right, I can dig that.
I want somebody to play an epic guitar solo.
Yeah.
I've always loved the wow, to say this twice. It wasn't even that great of a movie, but I always loved the funeral scene in P.S. I Love You,
Yeah.
where they have the handmade box that he's been cremated in, and they play his favorite song, which is a really raunchy Irish
Right.
pub song, and everybody laughs and sings along to. I love that.
Yeah, that's as it should be.
Yeah.
That kind of translates into favorite funeral scene in a movie. I mean, does anybody?
Well, that might be in there.
It might be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
Don't get ahead of them.
Yeah, I can think.
The other guys.
Nate, you got anything?
I was gonna say, I'm gonna cripple on his a little bit. I'm gonna take back my epic guitar solo just because I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah.
I am a humongous fan of Irish trad music.
Sure.
And yeah, like pub songs and
Yeah. And they did it in a pub. I love
sounds
that. I
amazing.
love that concept of it. Just such a familiar, and it's with his best friends, and they all know his favorite song and they sing along to it. God, it's such a
thanks.
good.
There's Dance Off. I like
Oh,
that.
that was a
Right.
really good one.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
real quick, just because it's not my second answer, I already won the card. But our friend Beth Kander has written a series of sci-fi novels, and the thing that they do in there, after someone dies, is there's a designated singer who sings the song of that person's life, and it was it was just the way it was written was beautiful. Original Sin by Beth Kander.
There
So
it
there's
is.
her little plug for Beth.
There
Can you get
go.
that on Amazon by chance?
You can get
Yeah.
that on
Digital
Amazon,
and
Kindle,
in,
your local bookstore if they're still open. Run by, pick up a copy.
All right. Hearn, it's your turn.
Okay.
It's Hearn's turn.
Turn.
Turn of Hearn.
Oh,
Between two Herns.
this is a good one. Who uttered these famous last words? I should never have switched from scotch to martinis. A.
James Bond.
Groucho Marx.
A. Dean Martin. B. Winston Churchill. C. Frank Sinatra. Or D. Humphrey Bogart. Man, that's a hard
What's the quote
question.
again?
Who uttered these famous last words? I should never have switched from scotch to martinis.
I've never heard that before, but it sounds. I'm going to say bogey.
I was gonna say that
I
one.
say Churchill.
I don't wanna Bogart your
Ah.
I'm gonna go with Sinatra,
But I
even though I
will
really don't think it's. Oh God! I'll hump your.
I'll hump your
freeze.
answer.
All right, so Sinatra, Bogart, Churchill.
It is Bogart.
Yeah,
Nice.
Nate gets on the board.
Woo! About time.
you got it right, Pat.
All right, Nate.
All right, multiple choice. The Latin phrase memento mori is best translated as you die moment to moment. Remember that you must die. The touch of death.
Yep.
Remember, let things die.
B.
It's not a guess for
pretty
me,
sure
so
it's
I'm going
B.
to answer last. Oh, wait, what was it? What was B? We're all going to get this one probably.
Yeah, it's B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that you must die.
That's my next tattoo. The Roman coin that they have that on is what I was going to get for my next tattoo.
So who said that first?
He did.
Excellent.
Huther. Going for discussion.
Well, we've had two now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
it's
good.
time.
Oh God.
If an artist asked you to destroy their works of art after their death, would you? We know a lot of artists.
Yeah. Man.
Yes.
How good was
Yeah.
the art?
I think I would because it's their last request.
Yeah, it's
But I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure there have been tons of artists that we've never heard about that their life's work was gone after they passed. And that could have been, the next whatever. And we've never known about it.
Right. Now, I would say generally, yes, even if I'm thinking worst case scenario, like this is a brilliant person. And it's like, oh, it hurt me, but if that's your friend and it's your last request, if there was like extenuating circumstances, like they weren't in their right mind when they asked you that or something like that, yeah, I guess it's the right thing to do. It just sucks.
I wonder if there is a scenario where like the good of culture and society
Yeah.
is sort of like outweighing that decision. Like they don't realize the potential of their artwork. It's one of those things of like to me like the idea of like this artwork could could be what future,
But then you would almost have to rule out certain art styles because I'm sure if you were to look at Van Gogh and Pollock, I believe most people would say that Van Gogh's work visually is more stimulating, more appealing to more people. So I think it would be a disservice to Pollock to say that his work, even though as much as he put into it, is not as worthy of keeping than a Van Gogh.
And that's not what I'm saying. I'm not
Yeah.
saying to measure it on other people's work. I'm saying, is their work by itself, something that could progress society? I mean, their talents.
Right.
They could there's so many tortured artists who don't realize their own potential. And we hear about. I mean, there are several artists that we wouldn't know about if they had asked. I mean, there are artists who had asked to
Right.
have their stuff destroyed,
Well,
and there are several artists that we would not know about them and
Sure.
about some of the cultural things that happened during their time period that they were the sole painters of or the sole sculptors of, or they truly grasped something in society that nobody else quite could, and we would have missed out on their interpretation had
Right.
their request been carried out.
And Patrick brings up a good point. You know, it depends. Pieces they may have sold to others don't belong to them anymore. Then that's up to the owners. So,
Well, yeah.
yeah. In this request, would you have to go to
Yeah.
all these people? Say, I'm sorry, I gotta take that back.
Yeah, I was going to say, what if their work is already known?
Yeah, you'd have to buy it back, wouldn't you, Anthony?
Yeah, that's your responsibility now.
Hopefully, they left you money in their will to buy back their original pieces to then destroy.
What were you gonna say?
I was going to say, what if they are already known? What if their work is already out in the world and viewed favorably?
Yeah.
And they want their remainder of their work destroyed,
No, they want all their work.
or just
destroyed,
like all of it.
evidently.
Yeah, I don't see how that would be
Let's say
possible.
logistically,
But yeah,
let's say all things considered, let's just say it can be done.
right.
They were in their right mind. It's feasible to accomplish.
They've left you a wealth of inheritance or what have you.
Whatever the means,
Yep.
it can be
You can
accomplished.
pull them, you can pull those back.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, I probably would say yes. I would do it. I think I would hate it.
Yeah, I don't think any of us
I don't
would.
think anyone
would
Yeah,
enjoy
none
it.
of us would
that.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting.
I would
going
try to
down-
convince them not to. I'm sorry.
No, no,
I didn't mean
go
to
ahead.
interrupt.
I didn't mean to interrupt your thread. I was just going to say, it's interesting going down all the hypothetical roads. I think the most likely thing would be is throw away all the crap. There's a reason this stuff, like, I don't want my stuff coming out and like the other collected works of like, no, I was going to throw this away for a
Yeah.
reason. I saved it because maybe one day I could draw something from it. But look, I'm
Yeah.
on my last breath. Please destroy this. I think that's the most likely reason somebody would ask that is, I don't want people seeing this schlock that I did because
Yeah.
I do have good work out there.
I'd be way more happy to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's something that even like Jesse and I know Anthony probably has similar situations. I know I do. Is, sketchbooks where I don't show people everything. You
Yeah.
know.
Oh shoot! People would want to see some of the stuff I've written, and I'm.
Yeah.
But that said, and I've lost plenty of it by accident.
Oh,
But I don't
sure,
know that I'd
yeah.
want to.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would.
I mean, like, yeah, there's a lot of things in my portfolio and a lot of things in my sketchbooks that if I ever were to become famous for whatever reason as an artist, I wouldn't want those things to come out. I don't want, and I also, yeah, I think that as an artist, I wouldn't want my work, like the junky stuff, to being sold just because it had my name on it, you know. Or
Well, you can also look at people like Prince, who never wanted his stuff to be used in commercials, things like that. He's got a huge back catalog, but now that the estate is no longer, now it's gone to his siblings, they're letting everybody use Prince
Yeah.
stuff for a monetary fee, and so they're kind of going against his
wishes.
Yeah,
wishes.
that's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
that
don't
one,
know.
that's just
I don't
out,
know.
out in the ether. I don't think anybody wins that one.
All right.
Anthony, you want us to burn your stuff when you're done?
That's right.
Okay, we'll burn it.
Magnets to hard drives. Burn
True or false? In the United States, it is illegal to mix cremation ash with tattoo ink.
What? I missed it.
True or false? In the United States, it is illegal to mix cremation ash with tattoo ink.
That sounds just dumb enough to be true.
Okay.
I mean, it seems
I
like
want to say false.
I would hope it would be false because I want to say I've heard of people.
just gonna go with false, but
Doing that.
I feel very confident that you are right.
I mean, it seems like it might be, maybe there's a health issue. Like maybe it doesn't not. I don't know. I'll say true.
Okay.
Postal Broker
True.
says true.
True said true. You
I
said
said false, just to break it up.
You are correct. Just
Dang it.
false. In
Yeah.
fact, I have a friend who wants some of my ashes to make a memorial tattoo with. I thought that's kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, I
So
was,
he
I was
wants some
hoping
of your ashes. He's just hoping you die before him.
They, yeah,
he's gonna arrange it.
yeah,
He's like, as soon as Corey gives him his blessing, it's gonna be like, okay.
yeah. But yeah, I think that's kind of interesting.
Oh, is it me?
I believe so. The Corey
Yeah,
was just
it's your turn.
his. Yes, Post Pupper. Thank God.
I'll do another one of these. I'll do my next one discussion. Tradition dictates Jewish caskets A. have passages from the Torah inscribed on the inside, B. must be made of olive wood, C. use no metal in their construction, or D, have the Star of David carved into the top?
I'll
And I can
say
read those again if you
A.
What was A?
have passages from the Torah inscribed on the inside.
I hate to make a guess because I
I was
just.
about to say none of us
I
are
don't-
Jewish,
yeah.
so we
Yeah,
really. But I
I'm
believe
gonna,
that's what
I'm
I've
gonna
heard.
go with D, but that feels.
Yeah, the Star of David. Okay.
I'm gonna say the no metal. I don't know why, but that sounds.
That feels like that's from a different I heard that and was like that sounds like them, but then I immediately was like that sounds like an Amish thing.
That sounds like them.
What do you mean by yeah.
Them.
Religion wise, that sounds like. I'm sorry.
All right, what we got?
It is actually C. Use no metal in their construction.
It sounds like something from
Postal
like an
Pupper
Amish
and Nate got it right. Very nice.
thing.
There's no metal. Okay.
All right, we're coming up on the end, I think.
Yep. Say we go to 5.
Here's a good one. What is your favorite song about death?
Okay, I got it. Sometimes It Snows in April by Prince. It's also my favorite song ever.
This would. Hunter, you got one? I can't answer. I would have to really think on this. This is not. I'm not going to say it's my favorite, but it's the first one that came into my mind because I've been introduced to it recently. I really like Neon Graves by 21 Pilots.
Oh, I don't think I've heard that one.
Yeah, it's about suicide, but it's really good. It's a good song. It sounds good, and it's also got a good message. Basically, that is instead of celebrating, we somebody famous dies, kills themselves. We celebrate them and go on to the next person. It's this horrible cycle that's not healthy at all.
Yeah.
And it gives kind of an alternate take on that, and it's really interesting.
Okay. Nate, Lie in Our Graves by Dave Matthews.
It's not a bad one.
No, it's not. Hallelujah is not really about death so much as just what someone will do for love.
I would do
Anything for love.
Man, I can't. I'm all of a sudden. I all of a sudden feel like I've never heard a song about death in my
I
life.
know.
Like
That's where I am.
it's
like
so weird.
Don't fear the Reaper. That's good.
Black Parade.
Post Pupper says The Follow Through by Blue October. Oh, yeah. Pupper, me and you, Blue October. Oh, my God.
I need to listen. I don't know if
Blue
I know
October
that.
has some just heart-wrenching songs. The lead
I don't
singer,
know that I want to hear this.
they're amazing. Amazing group out of, I believe they're out of Houston. I've seen them live like 4 or 5 times and just, oh my God, their music just tears you apart.
All right. Well, you had the most definitive, for sure, answer.
Okay,
So.
there we go. I'll take it. Johnny Cash, God's Gonna Cut You Down. Caesar threw that one out. That's a good one. Yeah. Yep. All right.
Hunter?
Hunter, your
Oh,
turn.
is it my turn?
Yeah.
Another Jewish casket one. True or false? Jewish caskets have holes in the bottom so that the body may return to the earth.
I say true. Makes sense. To me, at least.
I'm picking wrong on all these.
Well, go with your gut. Go against your gut instinct.
But I can't tell which one that is anymore. False.
All right.
True. Why not?
All final answers?
Yep.
That's your final answer.
The answer is true.
All right. Who gets that one?
I mean, you gotta rock, paper, scissors.
I need
Well,
you to
we're
win
saying
this
both.
so he doesn't win.
He got it.
Still alive.
Pupper, that's cool that you got to meet Justin. I met him once before, and yeah, just a really groovy guy. Yeah, we'll do this.
Wait, did I get skipped? Did you? Who got?
No.
Did you get what?
Wait, which? I forget which direction we're going now. Never mind. Okay.
Name one person you'd like to hang out with in the afterlife.
Well, that's obvious. Our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Trying to be funny.
Yep.
Trying to make fun of, trying to make fun of certain
It
people's
wasn't-
religion.
it wasn't
Is this
making
where
fun
you
of
want to
the
be when
religion.
Jesus comes back, Hunter? Is this where you want to be? Laughing?
Right here? I'd rather not. Laughing at him, though.
No,
a little bit.
It just says one person.
Name one person. So you can't be Jesus because it's Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Where you going with that?
No, I'm just saying it doesn't have to be like your definitive answer. It just has to be an answer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
gotcha.
Patrick says Galileo. Be interesting.
Trying to think of someone who would be cool.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers would be cool.
Yes.
I don't know.
Sorry,
I'm trying
CD,
to
I'm
think.
not actually going to go with that one.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, I'm trying to think of someone who's not. You know, they didn't have to do anything spectacular.
Pupper
They
says
didn't have to be
Faulkner.
famous enough for me to think about them.
Mm-hmm.
C.D. Marie says David Bowie.
But I want, David Bowie. That's a good one. I'm just trying to think. Prince would be a great one to just hang out with. God.
Play some basketball, make some pancakes.
Skins. Blouses. Shoot the J. I'd love to hang out with Jim Henson. That'd be
Okay.
mine.
He was the other one I was thinking of, actually.
And yeah, there's so many. So since it's an answer, I'll go back to Shakespeare. I mean, Shakespeare had, so much stuff.
That was one of my
So much.
one of my big things to think about in that question was just like, obviously there are people who have like shaped our lives,
Yep.
but what kind of person were they?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's like, would I really want to hang out with Shakespeare? Was he a cool guy to hang out? Like, you know, that's the kind of
I think
thing.
he does fall into that category for me. I think he'd be a cool guy to hang out with. There
Well,
are
that
different
or-
people I'd be like,
Or if you really like his work, you'd want to hang out with Kevin Bacon. So that's...
I mean, yeah,
Shakespeare didn't write anything. That's the whole thing.
I got it.
No, I'm talking like the actor Kevin Bacon.
I
So
would
you
like
just
to
see
hang
his-
out with Kevin Bacon.
You guys can talk
I
about
don't know
it.
what you're talking about. I would like to hang out with Kevin Bacon. I don't get this. We could play 6 Degrees on Kevin Bacon together. How fucking great would that? I would lose.
Right? Just talk about trimmers all day.
if you can beat Kevin Bacon at 6
my
degrees of Kevin Bacon,
You get to become Kevin Bacon.
Right, it's like the Highlander. You take on the mantle of Kevin Bacon and tour with his brother around the world making music.
Kevin Bacon never dies.
it's a Dread Pirate Roberts Bacon thing. It's just all.
All right,
You're the one who
so
kills Kevin Bacon. You have to become.
you say Shakespeare?
No, I
said
said
Shakespeare.
Yeah.
I said Prince.
I haven't said anybody.
I know. We're waiting on you, Bubba.
I know.
Or Kevin Bacon if he dies soon. Die now. No, I'm just kidding. I'd rather he didn't.
I'm going to say Terry Pratchett.
Ah, okay.
Damn it, that's
Oh,
a
that'd
good
be
one.
interesting. Yeah.
I think he'd be fun.
Yeah.
Love his stuff.
Yeah. All right. I can give that one to Hunter because it's Prince. That's
I
right.
win.
You win! Woohoo! So that is Morbid Curiosity. It's kind of an interesting party game.
It's a downer for your party if you really think about
We
it.
want
wasn't-
everybody to leave.
It wasn't as morbid as it. I'm sure there's others that could be pretty morbid in there, but yeah, that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm going to.
As far as news from the certifiable front, we are in the last 16 days of the campaign, and we got some big news coming either today or tomorrow. So stay tuned. If you haven't backed, definitely back. Tell your mama, tell your wife,
Oh, you
tell your
talking about
friends.
Oh,
Oh, that otherwise, we're working on the next 2 Kickstarters right now. Don't know when they're going to come as far as distance from the closing of this one. Stay safe, guys. Stay out of big crowded places as much as you can.
Wash your hands.
Wash your damn hands, you filthy animals. And know that we appreciate you tuning in. So we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Awkward few seconds before he turns off the stream.
We're into death.